Go ahead.
Hi everybody, Lisa Schwartz here from the City of Watertown HR department, and we are telling you about another great department here. We are focusing in on the forestry department. It is one of the greatest departments here in the city. I'm not biased. I think like this is probably the best department, but I say that about all my videos. So one thing I want you to do is I want you to go to https://pg-cloud.com/Wisconsin/ and this is actually on our city forestry webpage as well. But you need to check out this site because it is the community tree plotter, and it is so exciting. When you go in there, I want you to go to the top left corner, click hub, then stats, then ecosystem, and you are going to see all the stats about the trees in the city of Watertown. So you thought it was just a tree, but it's business, people, okay? And our team is doing a great job tracking all of the assets here in the city of Watertown. So this is what you're gonna see. This is why it is so important. This is gonna tell you about all of the Wisconsin statistics. And we're gonna go over this way, and we're gonna talk to our city forester, Ryan here. So Ryan, I just told the whole city of Watertown to go and check out the stats online. So we have a GIS tool. Ryan here is our city forester, and he is maintaining the assets of the city Watertown tree population here. So there's some pretty impressive statistics through Watertown's trees. Why do we care about these assets here in Watertown?
Yeah, that Wisconsin tree map is a great resource to identify the value of the City of Watertown public tree forest. So for example, the total monetary benefit of our forest is $650,000. Some of the other benefits that are included in that total is runoff prevention. Our city trees prevent 7.5 million gallons of water. Also, carbon sequestered has a value, energy savings, property value, natural gas savings, heat savings, heating and cooling, shade, wind blocks. That's all has a value, and that's all on that Wisconsin tree map.
So we told you that trees are an asset here in the city of Watertown, and if you want to be the life of a party, you go and you check out that website and you tell your friends about all the science behind the trees, all the business behind the trees. And Ryan here has been with our crew, our parks crew, our street and solid waste crew when they come to a storm, our summer helpers. Summer helper positions are still open right now. You can apply and be a summer helper. They're helping us maintain healthy tree populations. So that's the name of the game, people. Our city forester is helping us with our tree population because Watertown is an urban forest. When you go to that site and you search for Watertown specifically, all of these trees are community tree assets here in this city. And Ryan is going to tell us a little bit about how they're maintaining our assets so that we have strong, healthy tree diversity, not only here in Watertown, but as part of a larger region and even part of the state. So Wisconsin is all working together in this program, the GIS program, to manage our tree diversity, to manage those benefits, because Wisconsin's a great state. We have a lot of benefits from these trees behind us. So one thing I wanted to ask you, Ryan, is Watertown is an urban forest, and there's going to be year-round care. So tell us a little bit about how the process starts in September. What are you doing in September?
Yeah, so I'll just go through our annual cycle. So in September, we do a citywide tree assessment, which means myself and the other forestry staff will go around and we'll evaluate all the city trees, all the ones in the boulevards and in the parks. We're looking for any dead, dying, or diseased trees, any structural defects, and then we take an assessment of those trees and determine and create our removal list for that winter. So in the fall, that's like September that we do this assessment. In the fall, we like to do a little bit more of our structural pruning, and then usually around November till March is when we do those street removals or park removals.
So it's really nice when they do those removals in the November and March timeframe because they are getting the tree. All of the leaves have come off of the tree right now, and so when they reuse those trees, they're making into mulch that if you take a look over there, we've got a pile going, ready to go for this year. So all of that material is reused here, and it saves the city some of that additional funding instead of having to go and purchase it from another contractor. So through the winter, we're pulling down those dead trees. We're pulling down some of those branches that have been marked to keep our trees healthy. So what do we do after that?
Yeah, so just to touch also on the mulch, so that's also what we have around all our trees here. This is all the mulch or wood chips that we had cut down and collected throughout the year. Then we also put the mulch in our landscape beds throughout our parks, which we do after our removal season. Then that's what myself and the other forestry staff does. We will spread this mulch in our landscape bed. So we usually do that in April. I try to get in a little bit of structural pruning at the end of March, beginning of April, but then we're mulching beds, and then next up is our planting season.
So planting season is between May and June. Now that's an important season to put plants into the ground. Tell us about how you select the plants that you're looking for, the trees that you're looking for.
So one thing we're trying to capitalize on is tree diversity. So the trees that we have here, I have 27 different species, which is a pretty diverse number. Some of the things that we look for when I am selecting trees is the mature size of the tree, power lines, utilities, proximity to other trees, other intersections. So all that goes into tree selection.
So I want to show you this picture again, people. Come on in close. There's a lot of blue there. That blue is maples. So
yes.
We've got maples covered, people, okay? We've got maples covered. Ryan told us a little bit about a tree planting program, and one thing that the DNR is looking to help with is diversity. So we're trying to diversify to get a few of these additional colors in here, but tell us about the tree planting program.
Yeah, so we just went live with our tree planting program. We had received funds from Randy Raisler to reestablish our tree planting program in the city of Watertown. And what the program does, it allows us to plant trees back in our boulevards as a shared cost between property owners and the city. So you can sign up. It's a $75 cost. I have a list of trees that are on the website or in hard copy that you could take a look at, choose from. After you sign up, I will meet with you. We'll take a look at your house or at your property, and we'll get a tree selected and we'll get a location selected. And then the tree will be planted by us, the forestry staff, the following year. So it won't get planted this year. The planting will happen next year.
So part of that tree planting program helps us make sure that these trees are healthy and planted appropriately so that when they do get bigger, they're not going to fall over or split, or they're going to stay healthy for a long period of time. Again, it also helps us with tree diversity, something that we have going on, like Ryan had mentioned. A lot of these trees have been spoken for trees that we have lost through the emerald ash borer. So that's just another way to try to replant some of those trees that we have lost. So during the summertime, what is the forestry team doing? You're just hanging out underneath these beautiful trees that you just planted all spring long, right? What are you doing in the summertime?
Yeah, so when we're not hanging out under the trees, in the summertime we do most of our pruning. So we have to prune for the parade routes, prune in our parks, prune for Riverfest around Riverside Park. That's probably we do majority of our pruning at that time, and that's where we get majority of our pruning slips. This comes from residents or property owners that are requesting to have their tree pruned, their boulevard tree pruned, either from low-hanging branches or structural prune.
So if you have a question on whether you have a tree in a boulevard or a tree on your property, the tree in the boulevard is one of these trees and is city property, and you can give Ryan a call to find out if it is the city property in that boulevard. If it is not, then that would be something that somebody might be able to help you find a private contractor to help care for. But our forestry team is more than welcome to come out to help with the boulevard trees if there is any kind of pruning that needs to be done. Part of that pruning helps helps us when there is storm damage. We did have a few serious storms last year, so tell us what happens. Our great crew, they are on track. They came out last year and they've come out in many years, and they're probably ready this year already for storms. They're out there, they get a call from our dispatch. They may need our street and solid waste team, our parks team are on standby. They're going to be coming out sometime before you even wake up to take care of some of that storm damage. So tell us a little bit about when a storm comes up, what you're looking for.
Yeah, so in the event that a storm damage would happen to occur, let's say a tree would fall in the street, depending on the scale of the event, meaning how many trees could be down, it's usually a collective effort between our forestry parks, and then also the street department does assist us, also depending on the size of the event. So whenever we come up to a storm damage, one of the first things that we want to take a look at is if there's any power lines or property damage. If there are power lines down, we'll give We Energies a call, but if that's not the case, we'll begin the cleanup. So our main objective is to clear the street. So we'll collectively either cut up the tree or cut up the down brush, and then usually the street department will then haul it away, or if it's a small event, we'll just chip it.
So they are watching the weather the week before a storm would even come, and you said winds of about 40 miles an hour. That's when you guys are on alert and you're ready for trees to possibly need your support and community members need your support.
Right, so we're keeping an eye on the weather all summer long. Whenever we do have a potential of a pop-up storm, we're going to make sure our chainsaws are sharp and fueled up, ready to go. Our chipper truck and chipper, which is behind her, make sure that's empty, and our bucket truck and everything's all ready to go.
So one last plug, I just want to let you know that if you want a chance to cross-train with any of our parks department or our team here with the trees and the city forester, we do have some summer openings available. And we're so glad to have this great resource here at the city of Watertown. I'm glad that you guys are keeping a track of all the trees to help us with our diversity and to include that number of that feedback of the asset that we have here, because it's benefiting all of us as a community. Thank you again for tuning in, and you take care.